Halloween is my favorite holiday. When I taught English to immigrant children in Pacoima, October was the month for masks and skeletons to teach the parts of the body. Drawing costumes was the perfect activity for learning the names of clothing. We made haunted houses from faded brown construction paper and even made pumpkin pies. You could do that in the old days. Kids got to role play trick or treat and decorate sacks for carrying their candy. I made sure every child had a costume. I collected ballet tutus and Superman capes from friends whose children had outgrown them. Maria Elena Sanchez was thrilled to be the one to fit into the Cinderella dress with layers of pink net, shiny sequins, and a velvet cape. Maria loved me. She was a fourth grader from Zacatecas. She stayed after school to help me clean the room. She loved books, especially familiar fairy tales, and she would sound out the English words and help me with my Spanish. She told me that she'd gone to school in Mexico and was a very good student. She lived with her abuela until her mother returned for her and brought her to Los Angeles. Her mother had a new husband and a baby whom Maria helped care for when her mother worked cleaning offices at night. Maria didn't have a lot of friends in the classroom. She had a hot temper and cried easily and was very possessive of me. Fourth graders are like that. She wanted to sit next to me in the auditorium. She wanted to hold my hand when we did circle games or dances. She tattled about anyone who might be messing my desk. She brought me flowers she picked from other people's gardens on the way to school. She wrote me little love messages in Spanish with hearts and flowers. Maria Elena was the most excited about the Halloween parade. She wrote stories about it. She drew pictures. She begged to know what my costume was going to be. I told her it was a surprise. 2 days before Halloween, I asked the children to draw a picture of what they thought my costume would be. Some kids drew me in a pretty dress like Snow White. Some drew me like Wonder Woman. Maria drew me as an angel with a halo and bearing a strong resemblance to Christ's mother. The day finally arrived. The fourth graders lined up with their Dracula makeup and monster masks. There were 2 Spider-Men and several princesses in 99-cent store tiaras and mother's makeup. I appeared in a high-neck blouse, a long skirt, lace-up boots, a silly hat with a feather, and carrying an umbrella that made me look as if I had just dropped down. "Mary Poppins," they screamed. The class was higher than squirrels in palm trees. The only schoolwork was a spelling test of Halloween words. I was busy most of the day arranging for the kids without costumes to go as ghosts under my collection of old sheets. At 1 o'clock, we made our way to the playground. Scary Halloween sounds were coming from the record player speakers. My class took their assigned places on the schoolyard, and the parade began. The principal brought his office and cafeteria staff to judge the scariest, the prettiest, and the most original costumes. Parents stood with babies and strollers watching, clapping, and recording the parade on their video cameras. I had my camera and was taking pictures. I promised a photo to all the students whose parents worked and couldn't be there. Maria Elena posed stiffly with a self-conscious smile as I snapped her picture. The children paraded around the yard 3 times while the principal consulted with the other judges. Then, after round 4, each judge found the winning costume wearer and led them to the microphone where they pinned on the ribbon. The class cheered when Maria was awarded the Most Beautiful Costume Award. I took more pictures of her smiling happily. We went back to the room for cupcakes and apple juice. It was almost time for dismissal. Maria asked if she could take the costume home and wear it that night for trick or treat. "Of course," I answered, walking the class to the school gate. When all the children had dispersed, she followed me back to the classroom. She told me she wanted to do something nice for me at Christmas or my Saint's Day. "When is it?" she asked. I looked down at her and answered in Spanish, "No celebro el Dia de los Santos." ¿Por qué? She wanted to know. Porque soy judía. I'm Jewish. At that moment, the child recoiled as if I were suddenly transformed from Mary Poppins to a cruel, monstrous beast. I inadvertently touched my head to feel if I had grown horns. The pain in Maria's face was real, and I couldn't pull her to me or comfort her. Tears welled in her eyes and in mine too. The world is a scary place, and there are ghosts and monsters lurking where we least expect them. Maria's horror and shock faded gradually. For the next few weeks, she kept a polite distance from me. She didn't volunteer to stay after school to clean the chalkboards or sharpen pencils, as she had so eagerly done in the past. It wasn't until mid-November that she timidly reached for my hand on the playground when the class was lining up. By December, she was once again cleaning my desk after school and wanting to help decorate the winter bulletin board with snowmen and pine trees. In class, we played holiday bingo and identified menorahs, canaras, and luminarias as symbols of the different ways Mexicans, Jews, and African Americans celebrate their special days. The last day of school before the winter break, Maria surprised me. On my desk, I found a pair of earrings, slightly misshapen and with one purple stone missing, wrapped in Kleenex and tied with some old ribbon. Taped to the package was a card she had made. It read, "Happy Hanukkah to my best teacher. Love, Maria Elena Sanchez." I kept the bent earring with the missing stone in the top drawer of my desk to remind me of Maria and how hard but important it is for children to recognize the monsters and devils created by ignorance and old superstitions, and for teachers to help dispel them. Thank you.